Hey y'all! Sulphur Springs Health and Social Resort during the 19th century, patronized by low country planters. Springs are about 600 yards south. That's in that direction. Carolina Tony, today the road brings us to West Asheville, North Carolina. And about 600 yards from where I'm standing is the remnants of a sulfur spring. It was actually one of the first resorts in North Carolina, and we are going to go and see if we can find what's left of the old sulfur springs. And we'll get started right after this station identification. Hundreds of people ride by this thing every day and they don't even know it's here. And this is all that is left of the North Carolina sulfur springs. Sulphur Springs in West Asheville, North Carolina, it became a popular tourist attraction in the mid-19th century. It was discovered by Robert Henry and his slave in February of 1827. 3 years later, Robert's son-in-law, Reuben Deaver, he built a wooden hotel on the hill above the springs, and he began taking in summer boarders. Each year, several additions was made to the hotel. By the 1940s, nearly 500 visitors were arriving each summer. The majority of these visitors were low country planters, including families such as the Pickneys, the Pickens, the Butlers, the Austins, the Carrisons. The Austins, they even reserved a corner room on the second floor from May to September every season. Besides the L-shaped hotel, the Deavers also built cabins, bowling alleys, billiard rooms, and shuffleboard courts. In addition to the hotel, it had a large ballroom complete with a string band comprised of free African Americans. One of them, his name was Randall, and he had received $5,000 from the state of South Carolina for revealing a contemplated slave insurrection in Charleston. Laptitude, another black musician. Now Laptitude, he was educated, and Laptitude also owned a plantation in Charleston, and he had 40 slaves. And did I say Laptitude was black and he had slaves? How about that? In 1862, the hotel burned to the ground. The site was abandoned during the Civil War and Reconstruction, but in 1887 was rebuilt from brick by E.G. Carrier and named the first Carrier Springs, and then the Belmont under direction of Dr. Carl von Ruch of Ohio. From 1889 to 1894, a small electric railroad ferried tourists from Asheville to the site. However, in September of 1891, the fire gutted the main hotel building, and the site was completely abandoned by 1894. More steps that goes down to another level. This looks like a good place to get bit by a snake. As I said, this is in the woods, and you would never know. You hear the horn in the background. That's in a neighborhood, and there's construction going on over there. Folks, this is history that, for the most part, it is already forgotten. This perhaps was a doorway. I see more steps going down, and there's still a little bit of water down there. I cannot smell the sulfur, but they said that that's how they found it, was they smelled the sulfur coming from the ground. If you watch a lot of my historical videos, you know I always like to end my videos in a cemetery, which I think is fitting and proper. This is the Sulphur Springs Cemetery, and Sulphur Springs Cemetery is a private family cemetery for the lineal descendants of Robert Henry. And that is a pretty cool monument there. It's called the Mountain Man. It's erected in 2005 by Donald Cindy Taylor in the memory of his mother, Nellie Alexander Taylor, August the 25th, 1908 to May the 17th, 2001. So all out in that area there is where they found remnants of little stones. No formal headstones, just a stone put up in their memory. Well, that is going to be a wrap for our trip to Sulphur Springs here in West Asheville, North Carolina. The resting place of William Henry that was buried here. I never did find his grave. He is indeed buried here. I found some Henrys. It's very hard to make them out on the headstones that are so old. Well, pretty interesting history, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give us a big old thumbs up. Be sure to share with your family and friends. But until next time, y'all have a good day.